Welcome back to PFDAuto. You saw the last episode. We were doing stuff. This episode, we're going to continue to do stuff. Not quite sure what we're going to get done, but we're going to get as much done as we can. Well, as you can see, the pile is getting smaller. That's for two reasons. Number one, there's a bunch of it on the car. Number two, trying to be a little bit more realistic with what I can get done today. So instead of wasting more time showing you this stuff over and over again, let's get it on the car. So one of the things I've been interested in seeing how it works out is this guy. This is one of those knockoff water pump necks. I've heard some complaints that they leak. It looks pretty nice. This is a nice little AN fitting with a rubber gasket. Got a water temp sensor to toss in here. Got an O-ring on the bottom, and it just takes the place of the old housing and everything. So we're going to toss that on and see how it works. So the fun part of this is where this sits. Right there. And it's got a very different shaped opening. Now, this one's round. I actually have the thermostat housing over here, which has got the correct shape on there. And it's got the correct shape on here. So I'm guessing this doesn't replace that. I'm going to bolt this onto here and see if there's any way to actually get that to bolt to the block. I'll show you why in a minute. Yeah. Well, when you bolt that to the thermostat housing that it's supposed to be bolted to, and you take this thing and try to line that hole up, you can see there's a little problem with this engine mount that I made. It doesn't fit on there at all. Not even kinda. So I took the intake manifold off, shed some more light on this situation. You can see down here where it all needs to connect. Now, I went looking for something smaller to put there. They don't make anything. Now, I'm really hoping that doesn't affect my heater core stuff, but I think that's where that goes. But this has extra holes. Can't really see it because my thumb's in the way. But this has extra holes, and they line up with those holes, and supposedly I can stick this thing straight to the block. So we're going to try that. Would you look at that? It actually mounts up and looks like it's supposed to be there. I've just got it temporarily tightened down, but that sure saves a lot of headache. Anyways, I've got a piece that goes here now. So I think we're going to do that next. See how that goes. Well, since I decided to go with the not K24A2 intake manifold, because I don't like the idea of hot water circulating through my intake, I guess you have to use this Track Tough water redirector, for the lack of a better term. I'm not 100% sure what you call it, but I do know where it goes, and that's where we're going to put it. All right, so this is our piece. You can see down here, there's actually a threaded spot, but up here, there's nothing else to connect it to. And we really want this to be on here smooth. As a matter of fact, I'm actually going to come back in and clean this up here real quick. So I'll be right back. I'm sure there's instructions out here somewhere, but it looks like you want this thing to line up, you've got to trim this gasket back some. It kind of lines up. I really don't want this sitting on top of that gasket at all. So I'm going to trim off this little section here until I can get this to line up without hitting that gasket. I'm really close. I already trimmed it some, but I just need to take off a little bit more right there. Just going to use some tin snips. Try not to jack it up. Let's see how that works now. think that's about perfect. Now that this is trimmed up, got my little O-ring in place to go around this hole. We're blocking this hole off. And we've got this little screw here. It's going to go in there to start. This is 6. Now the way this works is they provide you a bolt. You get this guy on, which I'm just mocking up here. Drop this bolt in, and that is what's going to pinch in there. There's a little set screw. It goes into that little divot. Once you got this all tightened up, that thing's sealed on there. So I found this the other day. It came with that. This is my whole bolt kit. And a whole bunch of other little things in there. I really do like being able to take this off pretty easily. But I don't want to lose this hardware again either. So I think I'm going to install that with the new hardware because I have it. So the new kit has a bunch of bolts and 2 extras, which I'm guessing means these studs have to come out. So, just like always, I'm going to tighten 2 nuts together. I'm going to pull these studs out. Now thinking about it, since I got a ratcheting wrench, why don't I put the wrench on here, going the way it needs to go, and I can tighten this guy up against this one. Now, should be able to ratchet that stud out. Look at me thinking. Now our last 2 bolts go right in. Well, now that's kind of a pain. Now I got nothing to hang my gasket on. Oh well. Now I don't want to crush this gasket yet, so I'm just going to loosely put this in here. Just kind of get that started. Get this one started. One thing I already almost forgot is that they supply extra long bolt, so we can get this guy dialed in. Go ahead and put some more of these bolts in so I can take that one back out. So now that we got all that lined up, back to our water plate here. Got this little set screw with a flat end on it, a nut, and this has Allen key on the other side. This just spins into here, lines up with that little hole, and gets tightened up that way. Seems to like going in that side better. I don't mind, so we'll do it that way. So now this, just grab an Allen key, tighten that up. What do you suppose this is? Not that. Cycle 4 will work. Now that's good and tight. Add your little nut here. Tighten that thing down. And your plate is secured. And of course that's like a 13. The one I don't have out here readily available, we'll just tighten it up a little bit. there you have it. Now we can just put an AN fitting at the bottom. That'll be part of our cooling system. Get you in there a little better so you can see what I'm talking about. That's our set screw. That's the manifold screw, the little bridge that goes between our bottom screw that's actually threaded, and this is where our water is going to come out now. It's a new day here at PFDAuto, and last weekend I didn't get the rest of this stuff installed. I got a little sidetrack and maybe put the hood and the hood pad on the car instead. Probably saw that in a previous video. If you didn't, check it out. But we're going to finish up, so let's get started. So what we have left is fuel pressure regulator, a gauge. I managed to come up with a factory overflow coolant cap, and this guy. This guy is just a little shield to keep stuff from going in the bell housing. I think we're going to paint this black because why not? And then we'll get the rest of this stuff on the car. Just to make sure we get something done today, let's swap this cap. Now we've got some fuel rail stuff here to deal with, and you can see this is anodized aluminum, and however I put that on there, it's too tight. I don't have any AN wrenches, but I do have an adjustable wrench and some electric tape. So I'm going to do my best to get this off and attach the fuel pressure regulator and a little gauge for that without marring it all up. So I guess the idea is you just wrap some tape around this guy. And then loosely fit this and be real careful and pop them off. So you can see there's not even an O-ring on that side yet, which is no good. So of course I only have yellow Teflon tape that I can find, but that's what we'll use. Well, I sure hate the way that looks. Maybe I put too much tape on it. Maybe it's not supposed to have any tape at all. Maybe it's tapered. It's supposed to fit up tight. Let's take this tape off and see. Guess that looks a little better. Still pretty ugly. Not a huge fan. So I found the rest of the stuff for the fuel rail. Did not find anything for this. It's got quite a few holes in it. I guess I'm going to have to just figure that out when I come to it. So as it would turn out, if you look in the box that came with the stuff, O-rings, fittings, all kinds of neat stuff. So, let's see what else we got here. Yeah, this guy seems to fit here and has a little ball shape. There's a ball in there and it screws right in. I'm guessing this is how you adjust the pressure. Fancy, right? And then I've got this little guy, which sure looks like a block off. It would probably fit right here, or in whichever orifice you decided not to put your pressure gauge.
Then we've got another one here. It's got a tiny little barb fitting on the other side. I'd have to look up what that's for, but it fits in the same hole as that guy. And then a nut and a washer, I'm guessing, goes here. So when you set your pressure, you can then lock this Allen, which makes sense. And then some little O-rings to go on the A-end fittings. So maybe we'll pull that fuel rail, get this thing set on there. Now that I have the rail off, I might as well electric tape these up and get them tightened down. Because why not? All the plugs in exactly how they should be. Now, grab one of these little blue O-rings, stuff it on this connector here, go straight into this guy. And what I'm hoping is that this lines up in some sort of reasonable manner. I'm not sure that's going to happen. No, not at all. That's not going to work. So, I guess we're going to mount this. I don't know what else to do. I don't have much experience with A-end stuff, but it looks like you just bring it up tight. With an O-ring, that's how it works. So I guess I uninstalled this for no real reason except for to tighten these barbs down. Now we're going to reinstall it, find a place to mount this. Alright, well, now we get to find a place to mount said fuel pressure regulator. There's a couple places I was thinking. This has already got a hole. This one doesn't really match up, but it would make it easy to read. Kind of don't like how it would reach across. Might be able to bring it underneath and up and around. That might look okay. I've also got some space down here. I'm not quite sure. I might have to think about this for a little bit. Well, I think that brings us to the end of this episode. Well, we did get a lot done in this video. We did not get a couple of the things that I was hoping for. Fuel pressure regulator, I'm just going to wait and decide where to put that. I really don't want to drill some holes in the car and then decide that I want it somewhere else. The cover for the bell housing, I painted it. I went to go test fit it, and the holes don't line up. Not sure if it's for a different setup or not, but I'm going to have to manipulate that or maybe even just fab up a new one. But those two, they're going to have to wait till next time. Until then, if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. If you have any good ideas on where I might toss that fuel pressure regulator, go ahead and drop me a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. And if you like this video, please hit that thumbs up. And as always, if you keep watching them, I'll keep making them. And we'll see you next time on PFDAuto.